Hello, friends.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or if you are new, welcome. I am Jennifer.
And I'm Cheryl.
My mom, Cheryl. And we are Wild Honeysuckle Mercantile. We have 3 booths at the White Owl Antique Mall in Mount Pleasant, North Carolina. So thank you so much for joining us. Apologies if this is your first time and this is the most chaotic thing you have ever seen. We are on a mission right now to try and wrangle our inventory. What we have, what we need. Right now we need furniture, but
There's none in this.
thrift stores are not giving. So we are on to something else. We are trying to get a handle on our storage. We have quite the situation, and we've been very vulnerable in the past, showing you our skeletons in the closet, I guess.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. So for today's video, we are going to be cleaning out, hold on. Let me preface this by saying this used to be my coat closet. You are now in my powder room. This is my laundry room, and this is where you come in from the garage. So this is my coat closet. I added some shelving to it so we could put inventory in here, but it's gotten a little out of hand.
Don't judge us.
Yeah, we listen and we don't judge. So today we are going to be cleaning out
This closet.
the inventory closet.
Yeah, it's a little mess.
Yeah. All right, so this is what we're starting with. You might recognize some of this stuff from our thrift estate sale. Where was the other place we went? Thrifts, the Antique Mall series that we just did. And you can see, got a clock over here spilling out into the floor. So, oh, that's kind of ominous. Look at that little guy with his one little eye sticking out. So we are going to try to clean this out to get it a little more manageable, see where we're at. We have 3 boxes over here. Donate, yard sale. My grandmother's having another yard sale, so maybe she will turn it into gold. And then things we are going to price for Monroe, and then things that we are going to price and take straight to the booth. So these are our 3 categories. And then the seasonal stuff will just stay in I think we have Christmas and Thanksgiving stuff, so that stuff will just stay in the closet. But everything else will need to be sorted into these 3 categories. All right, little midway check. We are doing pretty good clearing out. We have the 3 boxes. Then we have a project pile. We have a to be determined pile. We have like things we use for display, any tags we find, coat hangers, that kind of stuff. And then we have our 2 seasonal piles on the table. So we have Thanksgiving and Christmas. We are going to continue.
We have one more pile.
Which one is that?
We have a repair pile for me.
Oh, yeah, a repair pile. So forgot about that one. So we are going to continue. We are down. Well, no, we've done these 3 shelves pretty much, except for glassware that we haven't moved yet. But
We got 3 more shelves and a bottom.
yeah, 3 more shelves and then everything at the bottom. So.
This one or this one can go in that frame.
We've got some alabaster lamps up here. All right, Eureka! The closet is empty. However, we've made quite the mess.
Yeah.
So these are our piles. These are things we still have to determine where they go. These 4 things. All right, this is all of our stuff that we have to keep. So like coat hangers, price tags, garbage bags, display pieces. Then we have like extra lamp parts, frames, light bulbs, hardware, candles, just stuff we use for the booth for display. That stuff's all staying. Then we have our 3 piles. Actually, no, take that back. Hold please. Fixed pile, repairs, lampshades. Then we have our donate, which doesn't have very much stuff in it right now. This is the stuff we're preliminarily taking to Monroe. And this is the pile that needs to be priced and taken to the booth. Then we have artwork. And then there's a couple of pieces of artwork here. And then Christmas pile and fall pile. Couple of more pieces of clothing that need to be repaired or cleaned. And then this is projects. So like we have a cross stitch we want to frame, a couple of things we use for cloches but we don't have a base for, a lamp that needs to be fixed, and then 2 things we bought to put candles in. So now everything has to go back in the closet. All right, so we need a plan of how we're going to put things back in the closet so it's not chaotic again. Bottom is
The tallest things.
tallest and heaviest too.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
Because I installed these shelves. Let's not trust them too much.
Then probably all of our display stuff should go in the bottom.
Yeah,
Because that's the most stuff.
that's true. Yeah. And then
Lampshades on the top shelf. Because we
They're
don't
the-
use them much.
we don't use them much and they're the lightest.
Yeah.
And then we need a way to contain our seasonal things so they just don't get strewn all over the place. And then we need to figure out what about the stuff in the boxes.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good starting plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the next step is to go through that stuff and see where I can take it on. All right, we have put the obvious things like display items and all that stuff back into the closet. So now we have to go through this stuff that we said price and take to the booth and determine what actually can go to the booth right now and what is actually kind of seasonal. So, or things we just don't have a place for. So that's what we're doing now. All right, we got to talking, and that is not the purpose of this exercise. The purpose of this exercise is to go through our inventory and get it to the booth. It's not doing us any good sitting at the house. So we are going to price all of this and take it to the booth. Not today. That's too much for one day. But eventually, within the next week, it will be done. Yeah. So that is, all of this stuff is going to the booth. We still are going to go through this box and determine if all of this is going to Monroe or if it needs to go into that pile to go to the booth. But not actually today. I should have said that because we're not going to know if it's going until we start doing the mock setup, and that will not be this week. Probably going to start on that maybe next week or the week after. So that is TBD. But for right now, this is the box that's going to Monroe. This is the stuff that's going to the booth probably next week.
We're done! Yay.
Almost. We are done with today's project. This is how we ended up with the storage closet, which...
And it has the Monroe stuff in here too.
Yeah. So that, actually, can you see it? Let me... That box, oh gosh. I'm always bad about like which way is, it's opposite from what I think it should be. That box is the Monroe stuff. So that stuff will go probably out of there next week or whenever we start doing our mock setup for Monroe out in the garage. But I didn't want to put it out in the garage because it's got fabrics and stuff in it and I didn't want to mess anything up.
Next week we'll start pricing that stuff and take it to the booth.
Yeah, that's true. Hold please, I will show you. We have 2 boxes and this clock of stuff that needs to be priced to go to the booth. It looks worse than it actually is. This box is mostly that mannequin top and 4 pillows. And then there's a few other things in it, but this is our pile to go to the booth, and I'm gonna leave it here so it's in my face. So if I'm walking through, I can't forget about it. I can't just put it in the closet and be done with it. But now I will show you like an overview of the closet. All right, I'm gonna use a flashlight on my phone so you can see. That top shelf is display items and then large lampshades. Then the second shelf is small lampshades and then all of our projects. We tried to corral things into like buckets so we could easily pull things out. This next shelf is pricing and then lamp parts, hardware, and then the 2 tablecloths that we use for like display at like markets and stuff. A big cream, like simple, like kind of neutral one, and then our 4th of July, Memorial Day summer one. We have that hat, which we didn't know what to do with yet, so we're just gonna leave it there for now. Then we have all of the display pieces that would fit in a small thing, and then the fall bucket along with Mr. Tom Turkey right there. That quilt is going to the Vintage Market in Monroe. Small artwork. Then we have all of our hangers for the clothing booth. That sewing kit is going to the Vintage Market in Monroe. That is overflow Christmas stuff, the pillow, the lampshades, and that big candle. Then down here, like we said, we have the box, the moving box of stuff that's going to Monroe. Then this, point with my foot because my phone is, my other hand is holding my phone. That is big art. Yes, thank you. That is big art. That thing is going to Monroe. Then over here we have 2 lamps that wouldn't fit up top anymore, a bucket of florals, our candles, our taper candles for display in the booth, and then small Christmas items. And that is a look at our organized inventory closet. All right, so that is going to be it for us for this week, guys. I'm not sure I want to look at another piece of inventory for a while, at least till we can start to price that other stuff. Yeah. Organizing is tiring, but it's a pickle we got ourselves in.
Yeah, so we're getting ourselves out.
Pickle we will get ourselves out of. And then we got to move to the storage building because I know you guys watched us clean that thing out before, but I moved some stuff from my garage over there. In Jennifer fashion, I just threw it in and drove away.
Well, we were constantly getting inventory. It goes to, when we come in, it's late in the afternoon, we throw it in Jennifer's garage.
Yeah.
So then we have to gather it all from Jennifer's garage, take it to the storage building, and usually there's no room in the storage building, so it's just like stick it where you can.
Yeah, yeah.
And now we got to pay for our stick it where you can mentality.
Yeah, yeah. I would love to be one of those people that you only buy when you have room in the booth. But then like we're in a situation like we are now with the furniture where we don't have anything to replace that inventory and we're just dependent on what Facebook Marketplace or estate sales or the thrift store has to offer, and we're in a situation where we have a hutch sitting on the ground in the booth because we have nothing to replace it with.
So it's interesting to know what you guys do to manage this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Wish I had a basement.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I wish I had a basement or a more organized garage that I could have shelves.
Or an outbuilding that you just had shelves in.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, yeah. That would be the dream, but that is
or
not
a warehouse. A warehouse would be perfect.
A warehouse. Yeah. Yeah, a warehouse. That'd be great. But we thank you guys so much for watching and following along with us this week. I think next week we'll be probably back at the booth. You guys haven't seen the booth in a while. You'll see the hutch sitting on the ground because
we don't have a table.
Yeah, I thought I'd found a base for it on Facebook Marketplace. And of course, in true Facebook Marketplace fashion, I got ghosted. So it was not to be. So next week we'll be back in the booth pricing that stuff, taking it over there. But we thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.